Chaos finally gets a plastic knight.
Spiky bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Rob Bear from SpikyBits.com, and we are gonna unbox and build the new $150 Knight Desecrator dual kit. Believe it or not, you can also make the Rampager as well. Once you get this bad boy open, it's gonna come with a slightly mashed instruction booklet, 170mm oval base, transfer sheet here with a little protective wrapper thingamabobber on it, and 3 brand spanking new sprues that is going to make your colossal chaos Knight of Doom. Diving into the instructions first, it looks very similar to the Imperial Knight. Now you will notice there's an extra section of joint in here, and I'll show you how this once we get it built, how it compares to an Imperial Knight as well. But for the most part, left and right halves, the little pistons, the legs are kind of cantered inside, and then they socket into one point here. Now I'll show you how to magnetize this as well. You're not going to want to put that piece on right there because you're going to want to magnetize that. And then it's got the little piston sockets right there as well. Armor plates all go on, but it's up to you whether you want to actually attach them or paint them separately with an airbrush, and prime this like a metal color. And then you got this really cool tabard, which I'm really digging personally, that goes on there. And then the rest of the top carapace also goes together as the Imperial Knight as well. However, you're probably going to want to insert a magnet right here, and we'll show you some of that. So I would stop right here and add a magnet, and I would stop right here and add your magnet. I believe it's 5/16 inch by 1/16 inch. And then you've got your faceplate, that all locks in. The things to note here is probably the positioning. Like, this is the back where the hoses or the smokestacks go. That's the front where the head is going to go. And then over to here, they say don't glue this in. This all goes together just like the Imperial Knight, as you would expect, but something a little different. The front top carapace is this 2-part right here, which would really make perhaps painting this a metal color and this a normal color a little bit easier for people out there to do dry brushing and spray canning or even airbrushing. And then you pick the faceplate and you're good to go. Over to the what makes this whatever Knight, either Desecrator or the Rampager. So you've got 3 different weapon options, which they highlight with the colors here, because you're going to have the little pulse laser thingy-mabobber right there, and that is standard for either one. So magnetization wise, you're going to get 3 similar pieces to this one you can assemble separately. The other ones you're going to have to lock onto these parts, which I'll show you here in a second. But you're going to want to put some magnets up there, some magnets there. Those are going to be 1/4 inch, these are going to be 5/16 inch. Super easy. And then just kind of build it up from there. You can leave this off. Remember, this is the Perceptor type chaos variant. It's not the battle cannon, the Questoris, I guess this despoiler class, I guess now. So it's not the despoiler class, so you don't need to leave all these parts off. We have another video on how to fully magnetize a Questoris / despoiler class. Just add Spiky Bits, of course, to make them whatever. Get that Chaos Vehicle Accessory Sprue, the Rhino kit, and you can, dolly those up just as much as you want. I say dolly, but cover. You know what I'm talking about. Thunderstrike Gauntlet with a little twist. It's got this really cool pointed fingers right here and an armor plate. And then this thing, this super stabby Reaper Chainsword, is really cool. This is an optional bit. It looks like it might just slot on. I'll show you that in a second too. Going over to the Desecrator, well, it's just those weapons right there, and it all slots in just like normal. Be careful putting that together. Now, some things to watch out, and I don't know at what point it said I don't know in here. Oh, there they are. So the smokestacks go on separately, and I'm concerned about that because I'm not sure that the tolerance, you'll be able to slide this top plate off, which is a no-no for me, because I want to future-proof and magnetize everything. So you may be able to cut these little back smokestacks off. I'm not exactly sure yet, but I did notice that. And then I also noticed right here, looking at the top-down version, that they want you to attach the top carapace to the shoulder plates, depending on which version you want. And you notice there's that little circle piece right there, which we know is going to be some heavy weapons. There's or some sort of top carapace weapons. There's some other clues in here that this is going to be there will be future bits to go on to at least the top carapace right here. I'm not going to tell you what they are. It's a little treasure hunt. But if you get this kit and you search for it or you look closely in the video, you will see some little slots and some things that aren't accounted for in these instructions. And you'll be like, I wonder what that's about. Indeed. So I wouldn't glue these down. I'm not sure I'm going to glue these down on the model. All the little spiky bits, for lack of a better term, would slot into there, and I think that's okay. But I'm not sure about these larger pieces right here because I don't want to be locked into any one particular build, and I especially want to be able to remove the carapace for LEDs, LED batteries, just to paint it separate, you know, what have you. It just seems very silly to actually glue all this thing together, knowing what I know and painting all the knights that I've painted over the years. Seems like a bad idea. So let's take a look at the sprues and then jump right into the build itself. Sprue number 1, and we'll try to get a little bit more light on this. This is probably going to be a standard sprue that comes in any future kits for the Despoiler class if they do release that, because it's just the top carapace, the feet, the back, some of the arm pieces right there, and that new split carapace piece right there, which is really interesting to kind of see that actually locks onto there. More armor plates and different, the stubbers and the rotate ion shield and the little waist piece. And then this is the other one. This is the leg sprue, and this is actually going to be probably the standard bits as well. There's your legs, left and right halves, then they have specific pistons that lock in and give you that cantor. And your armor plating, this is an actual piece to the pulse laser that goes inside of it, stubbers, and then all the rest of the spiky bits that go on the back of it. Not exactly sure, like I said, if I would put those on there. And then you've got the weapon sprue, and the weapon sprue is probably going to be, you know, the thing that actually no. Now looking at this, I'm confused. This, they'll have to put an extra sprue in here. It'll have to be a 4 sprue kit because this is part of the arms. That's the arm socket and where the top shoulder pads go. So very interesting. I'll have to go back. I don't remember if the current Knight Valiant kit for Questoris is 4 sprues or 3 sprues. It may be something like this, and then they added the extra sprue. I think it is 4 sprues now that I think about it. So many kits, it's hard to remember everything about everything over the years, but I'm going to go with that. Somebody obviously fact check me in the comments. So regardless, this is all of the weapons on here. All the close combat weapons, the Thunderstrike, their version of the Thunderstrike Gauntlet, and the top little plate right there. So pretty much standard stuff that we've seen in the past. Nothing too crazy except for the legs are a little bit cantered, and obviously the right leg is pressed forward, the left leg's back, unlike the Loyalist kit, which is vice versa. And I forgot to say, going back and reviewing the tapes, hey, let's build it. So, hey, let's build it. Oh, hey, look at that. It's build it. Swoosh. There he is. So, the Knight, the Chaos Knight, pretty dope kit, I won't lie. So real quick, let me show you the magnetization points on here. Whoa, this one's, I only had 1/2-inch magnets, so don't do that. Use a 5/16-inch magnet right there. It's just too much. It's too powerful. But you can create a little bit of framework right here like I did. So just put a little piece of sprue across there, and you can use some plastic putty to help lock it in. And whether it's a 5/16, which is probably advisable, or a 1/2-inch, it will definitely stay in there. Now, as far as the legs go, they are posed a little bit differently from the Imperial Knight, which you're going to see right here, who doesn't have his armor plates on and did miss leg day. So there they are, completely different, and there is an extra joint in there. Very, very, very interesting. Very interesting to say the least. Now, I like this design. It's very simplistic. The little pistons lock in. There's a little slot. There's a little tab, and then back here there's no crazy wiring to always knock off. And they added a couple of extra, and I can't show you because I have no light. They added a couple of extra pieces right there, which you can kind of see. It looks like a reverse Stormbolter, or maybe that's where he farts. I don't know where Chaos farts go, but that would probably be it right there. On the front or the top of the Knight itself, you can see it looks pretty standard. All the parts move if you don't, glue them down in place. Even this little guy right here, and he looks so adorable. I blue tacked all the armor plating and things on right here. I actually did a little experiment where I tried to use blue tack right here just to kind of get an idea if magnetizing this. I actually ran out of magnets, so that's the long story short. But I wanted to see if I actually moved it that much, and the long story short is no, not really. So I think you can just get away with magnetizing this with your 5/16 and throwing your 1/4-inch magnets right there. I actually used 2. These are a little bit more recessed in there. You lock this in, there's a little groove, and you just lock it in and glue the 2 halves together. So I put 2 1/4-inch magnets right there, 1 5/16. Of course, they're all by 1/16 on there. I don't have the metric size because I live in America, and Americans are stupid, and we don't know apparently how to divide by 1,000. Actually, I do. I'm just not fluent in it. But long story short, you're just gonna have to convert that on. Amazon or something like that. So I went over to Magnet Baron. I picked me up a pack of 5/16 by 1/16, and of course the 1/4 inch by 1/16 as well. They're a little bit cheaper than Amazon, and well, they come pretty quick. I just ran out, so I didn't realize I was so low on them, but that's what that is. Now this same deal, just socketed in there, good to go. Get everything locked in. These will just move. They're very tight tolerances, which I definitely like. Now, when it comes to the top carapace, I was right. Unfortunately, these smokestacks you're not going to want to glue in. If you do glue them in, you will not be able to remove the top carapace, which is probably fine if you want to string all the spiky bits and everything across there. But again, you may have a little bit of trouble when they come out with top carapace weapons, because if you have little things here, I'm not sure how that would all line up or not. You don't have to worry about left and rights here. They're both kind of universal, and they'll both slot on there, so you don't have to worry about that. So I just left this piece off. I think you can trim this little back piece right here, and then it would just jump on there and you'd be able to pull it off, but I did not try it. But I would, if you are going to try to remove that carapace, I would try that. However, I don't think, I think you may just have to leave these off, unfortunately. So kind of a kick in the pants right there, but it is what it is. And then when it comes to the last and final weapon, the little pulsar gun, this is a pretty cool, nice little build, super easy. It's got a really cool weapon armor plate right there. Like I said, I just blue tacked it all together. This is a separate piece. This is a separate piece inside of there, and there's no like separate stub or anything like that. Like I said, it mirrors the Preceptor kit pretty well. So then you just lock that on there, put this onto here, and now you have your knight all magnetized, ready to go. Once you get everything painted up, of course you can glue down whatever you want, but I would definitely recommend just leaving those off so you can paint the carapace weapons separately. And then you can do all sorts of cool posing and things to your heart's content right there, and turn the little head and do hero pose and all that stuff right there. So it's just a really neat little kit, and this is how it compares to the Imperial Knight. If I can grab both of these at the same time. And there's our Imperial Knight. Like I said, we blue tack a lot of different armor plates on them for Legio models when we're comparing and contrasting all of that stuff. So for the most part, it's pretty much a very, 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 very similar kit. But there are a few gotchas, like I said. Just kind of look out for some of that stuff, gluing it all down and not making it as modular as possible. So, but other than that, it's a fun build. It'll probably take you 3 to 4 hours if you trim down most of the flash. Feel free to insert some 1/16 by 1/16 magnets here, so these will pop right off like we did right here on these. But I didn't see the real need yet, as we don't have any additional kits that might be forthcoming. But like I said, there are a few points on this armor plating that you will find that you're like, I wonder about. Oh, and there's some stuff underneath here that also goes on, some chains and things, but I didn't glue those on because I was worried about clearance and things like that. So it almost seems like putting those on last will probably be a good idea. So overall, I think it's very, very similar to what we've seen in the past, and a very, very refreshing take on Chaos that I think, you know, if you consider that the first Imperial Knight came out in 2013, was probably designed in 2012, 7 years later, or 6 years later, depending on how you do the math, this is pretty awesome to see how far they've come, all the tolerancing, and of course, leaving all the other areas to have upgrade parts in the future. And you know they will. Let's not get it twisted. You know they're going to come out with additional kits and have additional parts and try to sell us more kits. It's just an inevitable thing, and you can see it in the design of it already, especially with that still being right there. How about that? So that's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching this video. We're actually on the road right now to the ATCs, the American Team Championship. So I happen to be able to stop in and pick up one of these and get it done on the fly, so to speak. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can be the very first to like and comment on all our videos.